Hey y'all, welcome back to a new episode of Horror Talks with Nisi and May. We took a week off, okay? It's okay, y'all. We took a week off. We had to handle some things last week. We just needed a break, and it gave us a nice break to really think, process how we want to talk about Scream 6. Now, if you haven't seen Scream 6, you might not want to watch this video because we've been holding all the spoilers till now. So we are about to spoil it as if we are about to discuss it and talk about this movie as if you have seen it, from beginning to end. So I just want to make that disclaimer. But before we do make that disclaimer, I do want to thank everybody for joining us, for watching us week in, week after. We've been doing this for about, we've been doing this since January. We started this thing up in January talking about all the Scream movies. We even talked about the Valentine movie. Oh, such a classic slasher movie. We also talked about Tales from the Hood. We talked about Urban Legends, the first one and the final cut. So, yeah, we have a variety of different movies that we talk about. We are both horror movie fans. That's the big takeaway from this channel. Hey, we are big horror movie fans. We love horror movies. Even some of the bad movies, we still are a lover of those movies as well. So while we're waiting on Nisi to join us, um, I want to talk about our. Well, I can't speak for her, but I know my first reaction to seeing the movie Scream 6 in the Big Apple. I was fairly impressed. I was on my seat, the edge of my seat the entire time. It was so good. Now, I can't lie. When I watched it the second time, so many things pointed to who the killer was. And all the Scream movies are a classic whodunit. At the heart of them, they are always a whodunit. We are playing a game of clue, basically, of figuring out what the heck, who the killer is, why they're the killer. We ain't gonna find that out till the big monologue at the end, which they always include. But hey, I'm always down to figure out who is the killer. And upon the second time watching it, I knew who the killer was, but now I'm watching it from the perspective of how do they foreshadow who the killer was. And one thing Nisi said that I hadn't noticed is that instead of looking at what they're showing, you have to specifically look at what they're not showing. So, what are they not showing? Who are they not showing get stabbed, get killed? And on top of that, not only who's not getting killed, stabbed, or hurt, you have to understand that each person that got killed in this movie got killed in a very graphic way where you know for sure they are dead. You are going to see the knife go in there, you're going to see the knife go in their flesh. So that was a good indicator. And, you know, paying attention to it the second time around, I'm like, okay, I get that. I get that. I get that. So yeah, without further ado, we're just gonna rip the band-aid off, take the cat out of the bag. So the killers for the movie was we actually got three Ghostface. So thinking about it now, it's like they really didn't have to try hard. Like the killers who were going after the sisters they really did not have to try hard because it was both the roommates. It was the roommate of Chad and the roommate of Tara. Like it was their roommates. And their dad was the one who was orchestrating the whole thing. And that made so much sense because Mindy definitely said it. She definitely said it in her monologue of like, hey, here's how this is going to go. We are in a franchise and there are no rules. Like we are this all bets are off. Main characters, they died. So yeah, this was at the end I was surprised. Not gonna lie. I was surprised when we got to the end. I'm like, oh. So when the first Ghostface came out, I'm like, oh. Second Ghostface came out, I'm like, what? And of course, the dad, he wasn't wearing no Ghostface suit, but he also, like, he orchestrated the whole thing. And it started to make sense of why they were receiving calls from Richie's number. And it's like, interesting enough that, of course, Richie had a family. And his family is looking at him like, hey, but yeah. So, what did y'all think? Did anybody see it? What were y'all first impressions of it? I personally, like I said, I loved it. It was done very well. I wasn't aware that Nev Campbell wasn't going to be involved in it until pretty much the day of. So I was like, what? She's not involved in this? It's pay issue. So I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And I'm going to click Nisi in right here. She can probably add on to what I'm. Hey, girl.
Hi.
Hey.
Sorry, I having some difficulties with my damn computer. Is just not wanting to do anything right now.
Hey, I was right there with you too. I'm actually gonna take my glasses off too because I want to see my reflection.
Yep, see, that's what's wrong. So
No,
if
we're
you
live.
if you don't, hi everybody.
Hey. So yeah, I was just catching everybody up on, you know, our reactions after we saw the movie. And I pretty much was ripping the band-aid off of like, okay, we're gonna cats out the bag, we're gonna spoil everything. Everybody should have been synced by now. And yeah, we got three Ghostface. Well, two Ghostface and a bonus.
And
So
yeah, well,
yeah.
technically five if you count the opening.
I mean, yeah, that too.
Technically,
Technically we had a bunch of Ghostface up in here. And
yeah.
I was just saying, upon my rewatch of it, because I went to go see it that Saturday, that it was a release. No, we went to go see it Sunday.
We
And
went that Saturday.
yeah, so it was like it was clear as day in our face who the damn killers were. And they honestly didn't have to try too hard because it was the
No,
roommate.
yeah,
I mean, like it was so easy, and the way Mindy explained it in her whole like monologue about the rules and we in a franchise and all this. She called him out literally like, yeah, the lottery for the roommates can be it can be rigged, and what she
yeah,
said. And then why the hell would they put out a random ass ad that anybody off the street can, like, do y'all not know? And I get it, Tara was so like, oh, I don't want to let 3 days ruin my life, but it's like, bitch, you
it
need to protect
can.
yourself. It definitely can. Like, what the hell? Like, you need to be prepared. Don't put out, like, you don't need to be on the low low. Like, why are you putting out an ad? So it was very clear as day that yeah, roommates did not have to try too hard. And with all of these movies, all the Scream movies, they are basically a whodunit. And it's like a game of Clue. Like, we're watching this Clue game happen, and you gotta pay attention to what they're not showing. That was my biggest thing on the rewatch. I was like, okay, what are they not showing us? Because, like we said, this movie was very gory, very bloody, and everybody who died, you know they died. Like you
Hmm.
saw guts, blood. You saw it was very graphic. So when they killed the first roommate, they didn't show her getting impaled by anything. It was just a
No.
body. So it was like, hmm, interesting. And like you said in the theater, the other roommate, the guy, he never got attacked. So of course it's like, But one thing I did notice is, in every fight scene, chase scene, all of that, the Ghostface was getting hit by some shit, especially with Gail. Like she was fucking them up. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering, like, so they ain't have no type of no bruises, nothing on their face because they was taking some hits. Like, interesting. But enough of me rambling and rambling on. Um, what did you think when you rewatched it?
Am still like super impressed with the opening scene.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, like I like the fact that it was outside at the bar, like
Mm-hmm.
because usually the opening scenes are like in a confined area.
Yeah, yeah,
So the fact that she got her call like at the bar,
yeah, yeah. No rules were like
yeah,
no rules. They had no rules
I
for this opening scene.
first of all I enjoy Samara Weavy. Like I love Ready or Not. It's one of my favorite like recent like
Yeah.
horror ish movies. And the fact that Radio Silence did that one, I was like, oh, that's how they got her. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the fact that she gets her call and she's talking about how you can tell the tropes of the time through the
Mm-hmm.
slasher movies, like that was her specialty in her
Yeah.
class. Um, and she goes out into the alley, like it was like, and when Ghostface says like you're a professor of modern slashers, but you went into an alley by yourself.
Here you are. Like he didn't even have to really try hard to lure
Yeah,
her.
yeah, like the
I'm
fact
like,
that she's
girl, like
she's on the phone with this guy that she's
we're
supposed to be
going
hooking up
deeper
with.
into the alley. Like, girl, he's a
Like if
lost
you
cause. That nigga dead.
like
Like,
he kept saying like can you wave your arms, blah blah. So it's like if you're doing all this and you don't see anybody there,
right. Yep.
why are you believing what he's saying on the phone? Because you're seeing that there's nobody at the end of this alley.
Right. Right.
But the ghost face kill was great. And then like you're sitting there and then the mask comes off and you
Which is
see who
never
it is
which
immediately.
has never happened. Like,
Never.
whoa, like mine was blown. Boom. We like 5 minutes in. Boom. Mind blown.
Yeah, I was really like, are they taking this like in a direction where we know who the killer is, but no one else does?
Yeah.
And he changes his clothes and then he bumps in immediately into Tara and he's asking her about Sam if they're going to be at this party.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he gets in his house and he's talking to his roommate and we got the real Ghostface call, I was like, oh, this is great because
Yep.
they're coming after you. So you're not even a real Ghostface. You're just a film student
Yep.
who wants to finish Richie's work or whatever.
Yep.
So I love like the whole opening scene with like the killer getting the call from the real killer,
Yeah.
and they had cameras in the house and all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And like just hearing this plan that they were going to execute
Yes.
to kill Tara and Sam, and he
Yeah.
was talking about how like killing her was like it was like an animal and it was just
Yes.
flesh. Like he was like so into killing this professor
Yes. Yes.
because she gave him a C on his project.
Right. It was that was wild. That was wild.
Yeah, I love them. They played warmer and colder.
Yes.
And when you realize that he's talking like he's saying that, when he turns toward the fridge and he's like warmer, and you're like, oh, he didn't put this man in the fridge.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
see the guy cut up in the fridge and Ghostface is like right behind him. Like I loved it.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my favorite opening scenes outside of the first one. Like that one definitely was like a really good one.
Oh yeah, that one definitely left a stain on me. Like I'm not gonna ever forget that one. Like
No,
never,
never.
ever. So yeah, man, just a great opening scene. Like we go through all the emotions, and then it's like, All right, now what we about to do? If this is the opening scene, now what
Yeah.
the hell are we about to do? What are we in for?
And I love seeing like I love seeing Chad. I love seeing Tara. Y'all know I'm not a Mindy fan. Like I
Yeah,
like her better in this movie. I'm
yeah,
still not a fan.
yeah.
Um, yeah. So I my favorite character in this movie is Chad, and then Tara, and then Sam. Like, and that was a hard ranking for me because I've been thinking about this all week. That was
Mhm,
really hard for me to
mhm,
distinguish like who my favorite characters were. I love Tara. Just Tara did it for me. Like Sam stole the show,
mhm.
right? Like compared to the last movie, like Sam really like stepped her game up acting wise. Melissa Barrera really like she gave Sam some real like layers
Yeah,
and
she did.
feelings
She did. She
and
did.
emotions.
Yeah.
Because the first one I was just like, this girl can't act her way out of a wet paper bag. But this
Mhm.
one, yeah, she got me.
Yeah.
But Tara just did this whole like metamorphosis into a real final girl because she didn't get that in the last movie. She was more of like the hospital victim.
Right. 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 Yeah.
So yeah, those are my favorite three characters. But yeah, just seeing them all together and how they're interacting and coexisting and how everybody's dealing with how they like Chad's just partying.
Mhm.
Mindy is like, oh, this shit'll never happen to me again. And she says lightning can't strike twice to her
Mhm.
girlfriend, which is
Mhm.
what you would thought you like, this never happened to me again. Tara just doesn't care. She's gonna be
Yeah.
like this shit didn't happen. And Sam is like taking care of everybody
Oh
emotionally
yeah.
but herself.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like she neglected herself like so much. And I feel like it was so heartbreaking because Tara is getting sloppy drunk and she's about to go upstairs with this guy to get some fireball.
Mhm.
And everybody's checking on her, and she's like, "No, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm good."
No, 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 no.
And
I got the stuff.
Chad and the guy are about to get in a fight because Chad's like, "She's not going anywhere with you."
I'll plug it up when I'm done.
And then Sam shows up and like,
Mhm.
"So I'm gonna tase you in the balls now," because he
Yeah.
put his hands on Tara.
Right.
That scene where Tara was like reading her for filth was so heartbreaking to watch
It
because
was. It was because she really like Sam didn't deserve that. She really was legit just looking out for her, and I was more so cringy of like when she was like, "You were gonna be taken advantage of," and she's like, "So," and I'm like, "Girl, so do you
so
not know?"
here's the thing. The mature Niecy can understand where Sam was coming from
Yeah,
because I understand. 19-year-old Niecy totally identifies with Tara
yeah,
because I had a very overprotective, overbearing brother.
yeah,
So I get the just let me live, let me fuck up my own life because you got to do what you wanted to do. I'm still young.
right,
Leave me the hell alone. So I got where they were both coming from. Because
yeah.
Tara's like, look, I'm 19. If I want to go upstairs and suck some dick, that's my business. Like, and I get that.
I get, oh yeah, yeah. But I guess that's still like even at 19, I still was that friend that's like, I'm like,
Right. No. We both were. We've both been that friend. But I
yeah,
understand from like the overprotective sibling,
yeah. Oh yeah,
like you can't fart wrong because they're gonna tell you what to do.
exactly. Yeah,
So I totally got where she was coming from. It was just like, ooh, you ain't have to do her like that in public.
I
That
know.
was
Here in front of everybody, like, I was
because
like,
she was like, okay, so what are you gonna do with your life? Okay, you came here and you're working shitty jobs to pay the rent, but then what? And she's like, I'm going to school and I'm gonna have a career.
right,
What you gonna do?
exactly.
And it's like it's true,
Ooh,
but you didn't have to say it.
exactly. She definitely went there, and I was like, well, damn, did all this?
Yeah,
She was holding this in for a minute. Like this
a
ain't just about
minute.
the
Like
hookup. About she was like, you've been
I,
on my
I,
last
I
nerve.
guarantee you that Tara thought her way out of dealing with Sam was going to New York, and Sam was like, "I'm coming too," and there's nothing she can do about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it all came out. It all came out that night.
Yeah, like it was sad to watch both of them because I'm that person. Like I am Sam now as a mother with my
Yeah,
own kids. Like
yeah.
I'm just trying to look out for you. I'm not trying to be overbearing. I know you have your own life, but just listen to me. And I've also been Tara. So
Yes, yes. And I'm glad that throughout the whole thing, we see Tara kind of go through it because
yeah,
she's trying to ignore it. That was how she dealt with what happened. She
yeah,
ignored it. she realized, once she realized this shit is happening all over again, she's like, it just won't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm
no.
glad that they got the conflict out of the way early so we could just see them like ride or die for each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it sucks. Like she's getting like chewed out by her baby sister for trying to protect her from something, and then she gets coke thrown on her by these conspiracy people
And you
who
see,
it's a whole subreddit and
it's a
Facebook about
whole,
Sam
it's a
being
whole
the real
thing.
killer, and
Yep.
people are attacking her and she's been going through this since it happened. So her sister's been attacked, the man that she loved tried to kill her,
Yep.
and she was getting cheated on. She had to kill people, and she had to deal with her father being a serial killer, and on
Yeah.
top of that she's now being physically harmed in public and can't do shit about it.
Right. And that's for all the people. I felt like that was a little bit of a dig for all the people who be like, just log off. It's just social media. It's not real life.
Yeah.
Well, here
Yes.
you go. That shit means something in real life because
Yeah,
people
because people are
really
crazy.
believe, yeah, people are crazy and they actually believe, like, it's so easy to persuade the general, like, there's always gonna be people you cannot persuade or the people who you
Yeah.
can persuade to believe some crazy shit. And it
But
was just,
yeah, like they, that happens and they're getting recorded because Sam is about to whoop this girl's ass, rightfully so.
yes, she should.
And they go when they go home, and I love the fact that like now maybe I'm just been around too long, but like when they first showed Sam looking at the neighbor, I was like, she's tapping that. Like no part of me was like, nah, she's too afraid to talk to him or she don't
Yeah,
want to deal because
yeah,
he was
yeah.
he was cute. So there was no way.
Yeah, I mean the angle, the view of him was just so
No
perfect. It
shirt
was like, come on now, like
with
you not Alicia Keys just lusting after this man every day. Like,
like
no,
you can kind of tell that he was like getting dressed in the window for her
for her. Yes, they had a whole little secret, like,
system.
a little code going on. So it was cute.
Yeah.
It was cute to
Because
see.
even their roommate Quinn, when she was like, "You should go talk to him," and she's like, "I'm not ready for any more contact than this," and she's looking at him put on his clothes. I'm like, she didn't have that, but it was cute that like they're upstairs and Chad is talking to Tara and they have their like almost kiss moment, which Quinn totally ruins
Yes,
because she's a hater. And I like Chad and Tara together. Actually, I really do.
I
Like
think
it,
they work. I
they
was like,
do.
did I miss something in Scream 5 with them having a moment or something? Or is they just,
No, it wasn't that they've been friends for a long time, and I think that's one of those like survivor bonds, trauma bonds.
trauma bond? Yeah.
But it's different when it's a person that you actually know and care about
Yeah.
versus someone that you bond with just over your
Yeah,
traumas.
because, yeah,
But
yeah.
I like them together, and I like that they didn't like rush it right away. Like they built up their relationship throughout the movie. Like I enjoyed that; it was very cute.
Yeah.
And then seeing Sam like sitting on the steps and like old dude walks in and she just gets up and kisses him and you're like,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
And
you
but I love when he was like, what if women who won't be seen with me in public is my kink? I about died because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of men out there that are like that.
of course. Of course. Yeah.
They're totally fine with
You're
not
fine.
being seen with you in public.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a moment and then Chad's like, hey, you got to come upstairs. And it's on TV that the two guys they went to school with have been killed. And there was a Ghostface mask left behind at the scene. And
Mm.
this is when I started to pick up, like, okay, who this might be based off of the fact that, like, Sam's like, bitch, we leaving.
Yeah, yeah. Rightfully
Let's,
so. Like,
yeah, like, let's roll.
Yep.
And because Quinn had a conversation with Tara before Chad came in about losing her brother. And I always listen to stuff like that because what else would drive a revenge plot than someone losing a family member in the previous movie?
Perfect. Like
Okay,
we've
if we're
been here before, where a family member avenges. We've
right,
been
so
here.
if we're doing requel sequel franchise, right? So we're going based off of part 2 now. We're
Yeah.
recreating somewhat of the same narrative.
Right.
Mrs. Loomis was avenging Billy, so someone's going to come avenge Richie or Amber.
Yeah.
Now, when she said she lost her brother, my antennas already went up, number one. And then number two, when Tara was like, can we please figure something out before you destroy my whole fucking college career?
Mm-hmm.
And Quinn's like, well, my dad's on the phone for you. Like when they were like, well, can you call your dad? He's a cop. I was like, oh shit. Now we got a
Mm.
cop involved. This
Mm-hmm.
is gonna get messy because cops are like known for doing dirty shit. So
Yeah.
the fact that like he was like, well, I was already gonna call you. Like it's very convenient that you were already gonna call her because her license got placed at the scene of the crime. So that also means that somebody close to her in
Yeah.
that house was able to get her license at some point to leave it there. So I was
Yeah.
already number one, like, okay, it's Quinn is
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that was the only other person in that room besides Mindy's girlfriend. And I'm sorry, Mindy's girlfriend seemed like such a small character.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't really a part of the friend group
Right.
that I immediately went to Quinn. Plus, there's something about movie tropes to me that I feel like nobody ever talks about, but the redheads are always the villain.
I mean, I am so
So,
glad you said that because it is a it
yeah.
it's a low key thing. It's a
Like
low key
hashtag
thing.
justice for gingers. I couldn't imagine being a natural redhead and always being a villain in any media.
I mean, somehow, some way, the redheads have something to do, or they are the like somehow, some way. Like this is crazy. Like this is
I'm not even gonna hold you because this is gonna make you laugh out loud. But I was in the theater. And after Quinn was like, yeah, I'll call my dad for you. And she brings her the phone. I shit you not. The first thing that popped in my head was red herring because I saw her red hair and I was like, oh, they're trying to throw you off because
mm-hmm,
she
mm-hmm.
looks like a villain.
Yep, yep,
So yeah, they like, they left her ID at the crime scene and they go to the police station. I love Tara's like, I'm coming with you. And Sam's like, don't go. And she's like, stay here. She's like, oh, now you want to split up? Like now we need to split up.
yeah. Mm,
And we get that bomb ass first call for Sam, and they
mm,
call from Richie's number. So I was like, okay, cool. So now I know Quinn is somehow connected to Richie
yeah,
because they're calling from Richie's phone. And when she said I never took his contact out, I was like, okay, clearly they have the phone.
yep.
And when they are going back and forth, and she's like, this is not going to end well for you or whatever. And he's like, you better watch your back. So you better watch yours. And the ghost face pops from behind Tara in
Pops
the
up.
middle of the fucking sidewalk. And then we get the bodega scene, which I'm so glad they got this out the way early because I really didn't want to wait all night for this scene.
Yeah, yeah.
That bodega scene is everything for me.
Oh yeah, it was wow. That was wow. It was like,
Seeing Ghostface with a gun,
yeah, like this nigga shooting people
right? Because I mean, yeah, they had guns, in part two,
now. Mm-hmm.
after they were unmasked, they didn't have guns in the costume. So
Right.
seeing like Ghostface with a pump, like.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
was so sad because like they ran in there, but it's so New York too. Dude was like, "You got a fucking problem," and he gets like completely stabbed the fuck up. And you see
Mm-hmm.
like 4 people run out the door.
They got the hell out of there. I was like, yep.
Like that's
That
some
would have
real
been
New
me.
York shit.
That would have been me. I'm out of there.
And the store owner's like, "Go out the back door," but it's locked. He's trying to get the keys, and when he looks down, like he gets got, and Ghostface grabs the shotty and blow that ass away. And just the
Oh,
tension of them trying to crawl over the glass and shit.
right.
And like you're hearing them breathing and like seeing like the mascara running and shit, and they finally just like push
Oh,
the shelves over on him, and the motherfucker was gone. So they
yep.
hadn't even gotten to the police station yet, and they've already been attacked,
Yep.
right? So, and even like Chad's roommate, right? Like Ethan, because he's
Yep.
spoiler alert, he's Quinn's brother,
Yep.
so which is Richie's brother and sister. So like he gave me off vibes. So like it's always like the little weird nerdy ones or whatever. But yeah, so
Yep.
but I couldn't peg him just yet. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep. It was still kind
But
of early. It was still kind of
yeah,
early.
when they get to the police station and her dad is like, okay, the DNA was found at the crime scene. It's Richie Kirsch's mask.
Mm.
And I love how, because I honestly feel like Tara is my spirit animal because the way that they were so casually talking about how they killed these people,
Mm-hmm.
like they
Yep.
were like she was to a point over it. Like
Yeah.
you could tell she was really doing everything to get over it because she was just like, he was like, was there anybody around that would want to harm you? And she's like, nobody alive anyway.
Like they did. Right.
Yeah. Like even Sam had so much hurt when she was telling the therapist in like the first opening scene about what happened to Richie, and she's like, I stabbed him 22 times and slit his throat. Like, she was emotional about that. Tara was just
Woo.
like, yeah, they did. Moving on.
Yeah, and that was a whole thing too. Like, she laid it all out for her therapist. Like,
Just to get
yeah,
completely like tossed to the side, like, and talking when she's making threatening remarks. Like, she didn't say nothing threatening.
like you literally pulled it out of her to tell
Yeah.
more. And when she tells you, my dad was a serial killer. Oh yeah, I stabbed this nigga 26 times with his throat. Like,
Yeah.
you wanted to hear you said I want details. And I kind of was
Yeah.
looking, I was looking at the therapist kind of crazy too. But then of course you gotta understand with these movies, it's never gonna be directly in your face, but it will be in your face. But I'm like,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have this therapist, this old ass nigga. They would not have him be the killer as as far
But
as
it was
like
like, it was just crazy to me how differently they viewed the situation. Like, Sam was like, this is something that I didn't want to do and I had to do. And Tara's just like, yeah, they had to die.
mm-hmm.
Moving on.
Moving
You know,
on.
and
Right along.
and they're like, he's like, do you have alibis? And he shows her the video of her cursing out the girl in the street, which looks terrible. And then
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, I was, at my therapist, you can check. And then I went to the party to find Tara where I tased the guy. And he just looks at her and she's like, totally unrelated.
Right. It's looking like, okay, girl, you sure?
And then like Kirby shows up, which I have seen so much hatred of how they handled Kirby. And I thought they did it as best as possible, because how do you bring a character back like that
Mm-hmm.
perfectly? You can't. But I feel like what they did with her character made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
made a lot of sense that her and Sam would have been in the same school, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I liked how Kirby is the new Gale,
Okay.
because she kind of walked in and was like, yeah, this is what it is what's happening. I'll show you mine. You show me, we're going to get to the bottom of it. Like, she was so assertive, but she
Mm-hmm.
wasn't rude,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
very assertive. Like, I liked how she was just like about her business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even when she like had the whole chart up and was breaking down, because you find out the mask at the bodega that was left was Jill Roberts, right? So that's, her Ghostface.
Yep.
And
Yep.
she had like the whole chart spread out.
Yep. Part 4, like we was going backwards. Like, okay, part 5, part
Yeah.
4.
And then
Yep.
they got to Roman or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I love when she's like, yes, and he's the only Ghostface that had the balls to do it on his own. Points for
Yeah.
that. I was dying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like how they brought her in a way. Like, yes, is it far-fetched that she's an FBI investigator? Not really. I mean, you can if you want, but I mean, it happens. People go get in the
I
FBI.
don't know how things work like that. How fast? What's the track of you like being going
Well,
from?
she's 30, so if she went to the police academy, that would line up.
It could, yeah, because I
She's
mean,
in
we got to keep thinking. Scream 4
was
happened
2011.
yeah, like that's over 10 years ago. So I mean, she
Yeah.
had a career. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we could buy that. We could buy that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard seeing Hayden Panettiere be older, because then I have to realize that I'm older, because we grew up with her.
I know.
So seeing her look mature was a
She
little hard
was.
for me.
She was looking a little. She was looking a little older in the face.
Yeah, it was a little hard for me because we grew up with her. Like, so, but I like the character. I like the bob. I like the outfit. Like, I like that she was just about her shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he instantly is like, you guys can't leave town. And Sam's like, fuck you, we're leaving.
Yeah.
And Kirby's like, yeah, unfortunately, like, we can't let you go, but I'm here. Like, I got you. And when he's like, you need to look into Kirby Reed, I'm just like, something a little sus about that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If this is her specialty, you would want her around on the case. But
yeah,
when they leave and they get swarmed by the reporters, and then we get Gale
pops wherever there's tea. Wherever there is tea, Gale pops the hell up, baby.
When I'm telling you, when
oh my gosh,
Sam almost punched her and that bitch went, and then she was like, I learned. So I guess she thought I didn't learn something. And Tara hits her with that hard ass right. I mean, she knocked the lipstick off of this bitch with her little ass.
Ooh, she has some power in that. She has some power in that little fist.
Like Tara is the epitome of I can talk shit about my siblings all I want to, but you better not talk shit about my siblings.
Yeah.
Because she knocked that bitch out for Sam because she called her delusional and unstable and all this shit.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
she was like, that's just, creative writing. She's like, it's literally a quote.
Literally, bitch. So yeah, so we learn at this point, we learn that after the second round of Woodsboro,
I'm
part two.
not gonna write any more books. I'm not gonna write any more books, guys.
Yeah, like she done wrote, she done, I love how she said, like, you got to move with the times. Everything's about a mini series or something, a limited
Right
series.
when they were like, you couldn't sell the rights to the movies, and she was like, well,
No,
it's about the times. Everybody wants a crime documentary drama now.
yep. And I said, she ain't lying. She is not lying. Like,
Dude, she was so I'm not gonna write a book just for her, and then she was like, and you wrote another book.
and you still wrote
You
another book, bitch. Like,
you have
they must,
you have me
they're
wheezing in the theater when you said that shit out loud.
yes. Like, like Gail is not turning down the story, baby. Y'all just figuring it out. We
And
already
she
know
lit-
Gail's
she
going to
literally used the same line from Scream Woman. She was like, well, somebody was gonna write a book about it. It's like, bitch, you've been doing this for 30 years. Like, come on.
somebody was gonna write a book, and she said, "Why not me?" She clout chasing. Okay, she will not let. Oh, you gotta love Gail though. You gotta just understand. She's going. That's what she gonna do.
Gail is the epitome of if a person shows you who they are.
I mean,
Period.
she's not hiding it. She is not.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But I love when she's like, I just want to help. And Tara's just like, you're just mad because if Ghostface goes away, then you're going to fade away too.
Mm. And was she lying about that?
Because Gail ain't have shit to say.
We already know Gail was out for. Gail was thirsty for a story because I mean, literally at this point, her and Dewey were already done, but she still had love for him. But now he did, so it's like she's going back to the cold, heartless bitch that she's always.
Yeah.
Been. So hey,
That
yeah,
that was literally her entire heart.
yep,
So,
yep. Ooh,
but then when like they, get back to the apartment or whatever, and they're about to have dinner, and you see like Tara and Chad like flirting with each other.
yeah.
Super cute. And Mindy's like, well, y'all just kiss already? That. Like,
Right. And we get
and, they're going to make, Sam's like, you guys have to stay here. We're going to stick together. And Mindy and her girlfriend there, and they're like talking. And then it comes on TV that like Sam is like the prime suspect. And that was like, I felt so bad for her
she couldn't catch a break.
at
She
all. They used
literally
that same video clip of her yelling at that girl for throwing a Coke on her against her. And I appreciate that they had Tara sit with her and be like, look, none of us are going through what you're going through.
yeah, yeah.
And I appreciate you, even if I don't know how to show that.
Mm-hmm.
Because she needed to hear that because she was
Yeah.
breaking.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's also like a jab at. I love how this movie was very self-aware of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Very self-aware with the times because that clip of her cussing that girl out was taken so far out of context because they didn't even get. And I feel like we see so many. We scroll and see so many videos. We don't even know the whole
Yep.
context of it. But we see like we just
But
react.
we're quick to judge what we saw.
Yes, yes. Out of this
So
3.5 second clip of her saying, "You want to come at me?" Like, but you didn't see that she threw a pop on her. Like, y'all didn't even see the whole story. Like,
yeah. Like it was pretty sad, and them just rallying around her and letting her know that she's like, I'm the most hated person in the world, and they're like, you're not hated in here, and we love you. And then Chad's like, core 4.
Yep, 4-4.
High 5. And everybody was like leaving him hanging. He's like, come on,
Right.
core 4. And they all finally give in, and it's such a sweet moment. But then the boyfriend is across the street and he sees Ghostface in Quinn's room. So like that whole moment just gets like pulled from under you, the sentimental moment, because
Oh yeah.
now you're on high alert that he's already in the house.
Right
And
on.
I don't know what it is about this shit that tickles me, and I laughed out loud both times because they made sure whoever played this dude was so New York,
Yeah.
because he was like, "Hey, yo,
Yeah.
yo," he's like, "I see you, bitch, I
Yeah.
see you."
Yeah. So just so hardcore. I love it. I loved it.
Now, I I'm still campaigning that the boyfriend is dirty. I'm sorry. I know that they're trying to pull a Derek, and Derek was like so wholesome and he got killed, and I get that. But
Right.
you're not going to tell me, okay, he's waving her down. She doesn't see it. He calls her. She doesn't pick up. That he wouldn't have ran his ass across the street,
I know, right?
or
That's
or call the
like,
police, or call the police.
yeah, yeah. I didn't. Yeah, yeah. I was like,
Because so much went down and he never called the police.
yeah. He still was in the window.
Still was in the window.
Still,
And he helped him get across, but like you couldn't have called the police like when you see she didn't, like you saw her ignore the call.
because it's New York.
So,
Police can be there. I'm assuming some pretty fast. You
but
know.
yeah, like they all get this like ping on their phone, and it's a picture of Quinn and Ghostface. Well, first of all, Ghostface is standing over her while she's on the phone, and whatever dude she's banging, because we've established that she's a slutty girl.
I
Which
hate
is
that they. I really hate that they put that on her. Like they could have done without the slutty
no,
roommate.
but they're going through tropes, right? Which is like the slutty girls always get killed. They're never the killer.
Yeah.
Because if you're a slut, that means you must die, very sins. So
Mm,
I get why they did that, but
yeah.
he goes in the bathroom where old dude was, and I'm sorry, when she was like, "And don't use my face wash, it's pH balance for women." But he goes in there and they get the ping and he's attacking Quinn, and they hear it and they're all just standing there, and Mindy's like, "Run." And as soon as she says run, like they burst through the door,
Yep.
and Quinn's body falls on Annika, which is Mindy's
Hmm.
girlfriend.
Hmm.
And Tara and Chad are gone. Like they made it out the door, and then Ghostface closed the door behind them.
Yep.
And Sam runs to the kitchen for knives, but the knives aren't there. So you're like, okay, whoever Ghostface is someone in that house, because they took all the knives, they took all the
Right.
weapons.
Right.
So poor Annika, like,
She got it. Oh, and that's what I was. That's what I was saying earlier. Like this movie did not hold back on showing.
no,
It was like I feel like everybody took one to the gut.
yeah.
Everybody took a stab, a cut, a slice to the gut, and whoo,
And
Annika.
it's crazy because, like, Mindy does, like you said, the rules, like, before this happens, and they're at the college, and she's
Hmm.
going over the rules of a requel sequel, but it's a franchise, and, like, everybody's expendable.
Yep,
Everybody's a suspect, and she literally called out Ethan and Quinn,
literally.
literally to
And
their
in the fact
face.
that the cop dad, she called like she
Yeah,
was checking off. She
boxes.
basically
Yeah,
told us like, and that's why I say these movies they tell us who's the killer in our face, but
yeah.
then they don't tell us in our face. Like it's so weird, so funny.
Like, even she was like, "I'm sorry, never trust a love interest," like to her own girlfriend, and
Hmm.
to see Annika get it, I feel like Annika got it the worst in the whole movie,
Yeah. Mm.
death wise, because the way like she got stabbed and then she got like it pulled up, and then they like Mindy gets cut and they have to like block him in like another room with the door with
Yeah.
the dresser, and Mindy's like pushing with this fucked up arm, and Annika is just bleeding out like
Yeah.
before your very eyes, and just seeing her in Mindy's final moments, it was like her, like Sam's boyfriend like gives him the ladder and he's like, "You have a better idea?" And she's like, "No."
Yeah.
So Sam goes across, and then Mindy goes across, and when Annika says, "I'll be right behind you," and they have that last kiss, like she's not gonna make it because she's
Yeah.
too hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
She's
feel like Annika went last because she knew, like, I can't even move.
yeah.
I'm gonna slow them down.
She knew she was. She knew she wasn't gonna make it.
And it was just so cruel. Like seeing Ghostface just like, "Oh, I don't need this knife. I'm just gonna throw this bitch off a ladder." Like that was some cruel shit. Like seeing her shake on that ladder, and she's not, because I couldn't imagine like the pain in her abdomen from that cut,
Yeah. Like
trying to crawl.
she damn near almost should have had
She
her
would
like
have made it had they not stopped and told her to like hurry up.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But just I couldn't imagine the pain she was going through. And then when you see, like, I for sure thought, okay, I know she's gonna fall off of this, but they're gonna cut away, right?
No. Mm-mm.
And they show you her face, and that is probably
Yeah.
the worst death to me in that movie.
Yeah. Ooh, it was rough. It was rough. That one was rough.
Like, poor fucking Mindy. And
Mm-hmm.
I like the way that they're handling Mindy as a lesbian is very refreshing,
Mm-hmm.
because
It's
they're not
not.
like,
It's not. They're not overdoing it. You know what I'm saying? They're
yeah,
not overdoing it.
they're not stereotyping her, and they're not using it as a plot device.
Yes, and they're not making like one butch and one like they're not doing
Yeah,
that. They're just
like,
two girls.
yes,
Like
Mindy is a lesbian, but that's not her defining characteristic. It's kind of like saying Mindy has red hair. Like, it's not. It's just a
yeah,
part of her. And I
yeah.
like how they're handling that. You know, in most situations, like, they either try to like force like lesbian kisses, or they try to make being a lesbian their whole personality and have them have these big monologues about their sexuality, which
Mm-hmm.
is so like stereotypical, kind of like when
Mm-hmm.
you have the black person, you know. So
Of
the
course.
fact that they're just letting her be a character and not a caricature,
Yeah,
I like.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
I
I
like
liked
it.
her and Annika. They were so sweet together. Like,
Yeah.
even seeing Annika stand up for Tara at the party was like sweet. Like, Annika was just really down for the cause,
Yep. Yep.
and she was an unfortunate casualty. And when you see Sam in the morning smoking that cigarette, looking like she'd have been through hell,
Yeah. Oof.
and then the dad comes out, you know, because Quinn's dead and he's crying,
That ugly
and
ass cry. Oh, that was an
right,
ugly cry.
and Sam tells her boyfriend, like, this is because of me. And she's like, I don't know who to trust. And when he tells her, don't trust nobody, don't trust me, don't
Mm-hmm.
trust anybody but yourself, and he's like, I get it, and he just walks away. And I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds familiar, because Derry did the same thing.
Exactly.
And then Gail shows up, Gail and Kirby, which is fucking hilarious. I love when Gail shows up and she's like, are you the cop? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, well, you might want to see this. And Tara's like, I'm sorry for hitting you. And she's like, no, you're not. And she's like, I'm not.
Yeah. Like we're not about to even fake it. Like we're not about to be making fun of you about it.
She's
I'm
like,
not.
no, you're not.
Whatever. She's
And
so
then Kirby shows up, and Gail's like, what are you doing here? She's like, Kirby's in the FBI. And she's like, what? She's a child. She's like, I'm 30.
that's just because Gail was old as fuck. Like Gail, you the one that's old. This girl done grew up. You are old. Yes, girl, accept it. You are old.
Yes. And Gail takes them to the shrine because she did some investigative journalism.
Mm-hmm.
And Kirby's like, I've been researching these guys, the two campus kids who were trying to be Ghostface. She's like, I've been researching them for like months and nothing turned up. And
Mm-hmm.
we finally get to the shrine. And I think this is probably one of the most beautiful set pieces in a horror movie, especially a remake, to see everything from the past.
They could have made some money off that if they actually like charged admission. Like
Yeah, that should have been an attraction. It really should have.
I would have went to see that. Yes.
Yes. I mean, and you see like every victim and every, killer's memorabilia. And when Mindy and like Chad walk in, and she's like, this is Uncle Randy's.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is Uncle Randy's shirt.
Yep. Yep.
And Kirby sees the knife that she was stabbed with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And all the drawings and everything. And then you see like Dewey's frame, and oh, poor Gail seeing Dewey's frame with all of his stuff in it, and the knives that killed him. Like, it was ridiculous. And then you see all of the costumes lined up. And I love when they're like, how does someone get a hold of all this? And Gail was like, well, cops like money. And then I was like, it's the cop.
There
Right?
we
That
go.
was my, I was like, okay. I was like, I got two. And I was like, but there has to be a third one, because this is like an up the ante situation.
Yeah.
So I had my two by the shrine. And seeing Sam have an hallucination, like, we just,
They're not letting it go.
we're not gonna let it go. Like, they're going to make fetch happen whether we like it or not, Gretchen Wieners. Like, just let it go. It's not going to happen. We are not going to be happy with this.
Right. They just would not. They just won't let Billy Loomis die. Like,
I get it. You probably fucked up a check on Skeet Ulrich, and y'all gonna make sure y'all use that nigga for everything he worked. I get it.
Yeah. He was here for a
But
check. That's why I was like,
can he just be like a voiceover? Especially when she was like, the meds are making me not see things I shouldn't see in the beginning. So now they've popped up again. Like, so are her hallucinations in proximity to something close to Billy because she had them? in Woodsboro.
Yeah.
And now she having them again when she sees his Ghostface costume. So it's like, does she have to be in proximity of something Billy to have a hallucination?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
But seeing her touch the glass and like revel in it, I was like, oh, this bitch about to be Looney Tunes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Tara catches her every time, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like,
Yep.
what is wrong
Snap
with
out
you?"
of it. Like, snap out of it.
Yeah, like, girl, bye.
She be into
And
she be
she's like,
into it
you
too
know,
much.
Tara's like, "I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want nothing to do with this." And Sam's like, "Because of me." And
Yeah.
she storms off. And then like Gail and Sam have a nice moment where they talk about Sam's mom.
Yeah.
Um, and Sam's like, "Yeah, she cut me off because I told Tara about my dad, so Tara cut her off. So now it's just us."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "What do you do?" And Gail was like, she's like, with all due respect, fuck your mom. And she's like, you just make a family out of all the misfits around you and you keep moving forward. And I thought that was really sweet. I also
Yeah.
thought it was sweet that they let Gail be the one to say what happened to Sydney.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
Um,
they
yeah.
did it in a way where it's like, we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
We're
And
not,
she's like,
we're
look,
not,
she
we're
deserves her
not
happy ending.
yeah,
She
we're
got
not
her
gonna,
kids and her husband,
and
and they left town.
yeah, they hiding. Get the and to be truthfully honest, that makes the most sense because
Yes. Out of
why
all this time,
would
yeah.
Sydney show up in New York of all places?
Yeah.
Now Gail
Yeah.
lives in New York and she's in the whole, news and everything. But it made it literally
Yeah.
logically made no sense for Sydney to be there.
Yeah. It was done respectfully.
Very done. And I feel like and you see the line, and I love when actors do this as like a wink in the gun. She said she deserves her happy ending. That
Yeah.
was Courtney Cox talking to Nev Campbell. Like that was her
Yeah.
saying she
Yes.
deserves to be happy. And I loved it. I was like, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely. She was talking to the fans, to everybody who's got anything negative to say about Nev.
Yep.
She deserves to be happy. Let it go. She's not Sydney anymore.
Yep.
And I thought that was a beautiful moment. Like I said, Gail has some good key motherly moments like that.
Yep.
But seeing Kirby and Tara, which was such an unlikely pair, but I liked their scene together when she was like, how did you get through this? And she was like, I decided I wasn't going to be afraid of monsters anymore. They were going to be afraid of me. And Tara was like, I like that.
Yep. Yep.
Right. And then they come up with the plan on how to trap Ghostface. And of course, the detective is there, Gail is there, and Kirby's like, okay, I'm sorry, no press. That's the law.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fuck. So when they go to like the park and what they're doing a sting where they're going to have Ghostface call, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to catch Ghostface like in part 2. They're going to try and run and catch Ghostface on the phone. And Mindy even was like, this is exactly how my uncle died, in a van on the phone with Ghostface. And Kirby was like,
yeah.
Yeah, Kirby was like, huh.
Yeah.
And I also love when Chad snatched up Ethan when he was like, where the fuck were you? My sister gets attacked and you're nowhere to be found. And that's when he was on my radar because I was like, wow, he has been gone for a minute.
Right? Where were you at? Because they didn't. That's when you got to pay attention to what they're not showing. They never showed this man. I swear I was here. I was. But they didn't.
I was like, Econ.
Yeah, Econ, get out of here. They would have showed it.
Mindy was like, get your Ghostface ass out of here, Ghostface. I hollered.
Because she wasn't wrong. And that's the thing, is like, she was not wrong at all.
I promise you, I don't know what happened in that writer's room, or if what's her name? Jasmine Savoy Brown, who plays Mindy, was like, look, we have to blacken her up a little bit. Yeah. But like Mindy stepped into like, I'm a full-fledged sister in this movie, because she was saying everything a black woman was saying.
Yep.
Like, get your Ghostface ass out of here, Ghostface. And the looks, because she hated Ethan's guts. And the looks that she would give this man were so, like, just my Negro soul dance. But she was just like,
yeah. Like,
when she jumped at him?
Yeah.
Because he was looking at her. She was like,
oh my gosh, yes. And I mean,
she was pulling all the face.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, they're in the back of the trying to catch Ghostface. And I was just like, so how are y'all not putting 2 and 2 together? That is this dude, because he's the one with the plan. He came up with the plan.
Mm-hmm.
to catch Ghostface, right?
Mm-hmm.
But of course, they're under the idea that Quinn is still dead because we haven't seen her.
Yep.
And I've said this a million times. Until you show me a body in a body bag in a Scream movie, they are alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
because we just saw her bloody and fall over. We never saw the body again. We didn't see a body
We
bag. We
didn't
only got
see
confirmation from
her.
her father.
We didn't see her get stabbed. We didn't see anything. We literally
Nope.
just saw a bloody body thrust out the room. We didn't even know if that really could have been her. Like we don't know.
Right.
We just see a red hair, like bloody, and in a rush, everybody's running, so they're not gonna check her pulse, look at her
Yeah.
injuries.
And
No,
I definitely knew because when Ghostface calls and like knows the whole plan, who else could have told him?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they're tracking the call, and Kirby's like, okay, I got the call, and it's the Upper West Side, and Tara's like on 96, and they realize that it's Gail's apartment. And the fact that Tara had enough sense to steal a cop car was not on his bingo card
Yes.
at all.
He was not. He was.
No, he was not happy because he's
That
sitting there arguing with Sam, and Tara just pulled up and was like,
Yep.
get in the car.
Yep.
You can't steal a cop car. And they closed the door, and Sam was like, are we going to use the siren? And Tara was like, you think I'm going to steal a cop car and we don't use the siren?
Right.
I love them as sisters because that's just how siblings are. Like that is some
Yep.
dumb shit that I would say. Like, oh, you think I'm going to steal a car and we not going to use the siren?
Exactly. And that wasn't part of his plan. That was not part
Yeah,
of it.
he did not have that on his bingo card. But seeing we finally get the Gale phone call, which is amazing. Like that's probably one of the more intense calls
Yeah. And he
in the
said it.
series.
You've never gotten a call.
Mm-hmm.
You've never gotten a call, Gail. This is our first.
And that's what I mean. It's like, how would Ghostface know this? This Ghostface has to have access to all of this information.
Yep.
And a 19-year-old girl and a 19 or 18-year-old boy are not going to have this type of leeway to get this information.
Right.
And I know it's not Kirby because Kirby's not like that. This conspiracy online that one of the characters is going to turn evil is such bullshit to me. The survivors, like, can we let that shit die? Yeah. And the fact that he even brings it up to Gail and was like, you would have made a great Ghostface. You finally snapping would have been a twist nobody saw coming. I was like, thank you. I'm glad y'all are acknowledging the dumb shit people say about these movies.
Yeah.
Online.
Yeah.
Because that would make no sense.
This movie was so self-aware of itself. It knew
like
exactly
survivors of traumatic events
Yep.
may do a lot of harm or self-harm, but the idea that they're going to go through all of this, especially Gail or Kirby, and then put the costume on themselves makes absolutely no sense.
Right. This late in the game, they're going to snap. This late in the game, they're going to snap. Come on now.
But yes, and can we talk about Gail with the brother? Her boyfriend's giving her a drink, and it's a whole brother.
Chocolate. Okay, chocolate. Gail wanted a little swirl. She wanted a little swirl. I'm like, okay, Gail. Okay.
Like, Gail was like, all right, I gave my heart to Dewey, and I'm about to have some fun.
There you go. Because I mean, once you go black, you know what they say.
And he was a little tender for her age. He was a little tenderoni.
He looked young too, so I was like, okay. But then I'm like, why couldn't he call the police? Like right then and there. Why you gotta go? You have a phone in your hand. Like you have a phone in your hand.
Yeah, just hang up and call the police.
Boom, call the police. Why you gotta go to the other room to get the phone? Everybody has their phone on them.
What kills me is the fact that like he was like, they say they're the killer, and I'm just like, so you're just gonna give her the phone.
Yeah. Do you know this woman? What she been through?
But yes, hearing them have that dialogue back and forth, and just seeing the guy in the background getting fucked up, right? And when he hits that nerve about Dewey, I was like, you are an evil person. He's like, oh, isn't it so sad you couldn't be there? And his last moments to comfort him, and it's like, ooh,
that was a low blow. The only,
but yes, but in this movie as well, they made Gail stupid. I mean, let's just call it what it is, because Gail is running through the house. She's getting away from Ghostface, and for her age, she was giving Ghostface the business in this movie.
Yeah,
throwing shit, mopping him up.
Yeah, hit him with a vase, like she.
Yeah, she was not playing. So She knew the layout of her apartment very well.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes to get the gun. She unloads in the door. And you are literally in the safest part of your home with a weapon and a phone.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need to leave? Think about this. You are in a closet with no other entry points but the one you're shooting at.
Right. Then you waste a
And you
bullet.
have a phone.
You're shooting blindly into a door. You don't even know if someone's there. You've been through this
So
enough time to know.
they would literally have to break the door down to kill her.
Yeah. And by then,
But,
boom, 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 you can shoot them. Like,
but they made Gail go open the door. Gail would never open the door.
right.
They're never in the history of these Scream movies has Gail ever done anything but get the fuck out of Dodge. Gail always gets caught by the killer and walks somewhere.
Yep.
Right? Gail has never walked to look for the killer. Gail has always been like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. You should come with.
Yeah. Let's go. It's usually her and Dewey. Like, usually her and Dewey are like, or her and Sid. Let's go. Yeah. This one, yeah. Mm-mm.
So that part is where it kind of lost me on her storylines. Like, this is not something, like, I feel like as good as Radio Silence is with their new characters, I feel like there are just some conveniences that they take with the legacy characters that just would never happen in this universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Now, Gail star 69 in that ass, definitely something Gail would do.
Oh, yeah.
That shit was funny. They're talking all that shit, and she literally opens the door and she's walking around. And then she was like, hold, please. And they're like, what? And she like stars it, and you hear the ringing.
Right. Yeah.
Why would you go close to the door then if you hear where? So you hear where it's coming from. So it was just those type of decisions. I'm like, that's not a Gail Weathers thing to do. Gail would have sat there and waited for them to do something.
Yep. Wait them out. Or at least wait for the police. Because at this
Gail
point,
had one of like the most epic chase scenes in part 2 at the college. And Gail waited that shit out until they left.
Yeah.
Before she left that area because they couldn't get in. Remember? Yeah. Then she left, and it happened to be Debbie Salt. Yeah. Part 1, she just kept getting knocked out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Part 3, she just kept getting like stuck with Dewey or Jennifer Jolie. Like it was never she went looking for it. It just happened to find her.
Right. Yep.
But the fact that Gail was really fighting back was I think they did I feel like we're not going to see Gail anymore. So this is a good send off for her.
I feel like it too. I feel like it too. I thought, I was saying from jump, Gail ain't going to make it. Gail ain't going to make it. And that final like pierce of the.
Yeah, with the shards of glass.
Yeah, that final one, I was like, that's going to do it. Because it seemed like in her face.
Yeah, she was like, slipping away.
She was slipping away, but she was like, I'm going to fight this. You know what I'm saying? So it was like.
And then Sam and Tara show up and unload the clip.
Yeah.
Sam unload the clip, Ghostface takes off, and Gail's just like.
Nobody chases them. Nobody in any of these movies, they never chase the Ghostface. They always check on the person who is laying on the ground or something. I'm
saying there's like 2 of y'all. Tara could have stayed there and you could have chased this nigga down and shot him.
Yeah. He wouldn't have got he wouldn't have got out of my sight. You hear me?
But seeing Sam have like a full breakdown over Gail, like you can tell she's just like so traumatized. And she took that shit very hard seeing Gail like that. And she was like, just tell Sydney that he didn't get me.
Yep. Another little message to Nev Campbell. I feel like that was another message, like he didn't get me. You know what I'm saying? Like
and she passes out and you really think Gail is dead. Like I think it would have been better if they just left her dead.
I think so too. I honestly think so too. Like let's do away with the legacy characters once and for all.
Especially now that she's executive producing.
Yep.
She doesn't need to be in the movies anymore. But I still think it was cute. Like, oh, she has a faint pulse. But seeing Sam like lose her shit about Gail dying was like, damn, And Sam is outside. Her boyfriend's there. Minnie's there. Chad's there. And Tara's there. Ethan's there. And she's just like, why don't we just give him what he wants? Yeah, because Chad was like, you coming with me. You not like, I gotta watch you.
Yeah.
And she's like, I should just give myself up. And Tara's like, no, you take care of all of us, and now we're gonna protect you.
Yeah.
And he's like, Chad was like, core four, and her boyfriend was like, what? He was like, he's like, it's not something that has nothing to do with you. Like, you're not a
No,
part of this.
you're not a part of this. It's kind of just a
So they come up with a plan. They call the detective on, like, they're gonna set up Ghostface.
mm-hmm.
They call Kirby, and they have to take the subway to get across town.
Mm.
And as soon as Mindy got split up from the group with Ethan, I was like, oh, she's fucked.
Yeah.
Because he was watching her like he had a whole hard on.
Mm-hmm.
He kept following her through that train, and she kept doing the to him. And she is in the back of the train.
She sent the message talking about, yeah, I'm with Ethan, aka
I'm with, yeah, because the messages weren't sending, and she's like, yeah, I'm in the Lex car with Ghostface, with GF.
Right.
Right. And you're seeing all these Ghostface costumes, because the Ghostface costumes have skyrocketed in sale again. So everybody has them.
Oh, yeah.
And you see all the different, like you see Freddy, Pinhead, Chucky, like all these, Babadook all in the background for Halloween.
Right.
And you see Minnie just get further and further into the back of this train, and you see that Ghostface look at her. And I was like, okay, my brain was like, okay, this is definitely Quinn, because I'm looking at Ethan, and the detective is on his way to where they are. That is the only other character in this movie that it could possibly be, because everybody else is visually accounted for.
Yep.
And except for Kirby. But I'm like, Kirby was never on the suspect list for me. Never.
Yeah.
And when she gets stabbed, they should have let her die. I feel like the running theme of my number one critique is, why didn't you just let these people die? Like,
yeah,
Mindy should have died, bro. She got like fucked up twice in this movie and escaped death. Like, she should have died in that subway.
She got fucked up in the last one. When she got cut that first time, she was leaking.
Yeah.
She was profusely bleeding. So with her being stabbed in the train in that manner, they weren't graphic when they were showing it. That's why I kind of thought she was gonna pull through, because they didn't show too much of it. Which I'm like, I agree with you on that. I'm just like, why does these characters continue to live on when we should, like, we could have had Randy for another movie? Like, I am so mad that they killed him off in the second one. Like, I'm so mad. Like,
I'm just like, I understand that you're in New York and you're on a subway and it's easy to get medical attention. What I don't understand is, what is the point of getting her alone on the subway car? What is the point of stabbing her if not to finish the job? Because you got away very easily.
Yeah.
That should have been another body. I mean, I guess I get, that should have been another body. I mean, I get it took her out the rest of the movie, but that still should have been another body Ghostface caught. I don't care. I know people love Mindy because it makes them feel like Randy's still there with us, but this is not Randy. This is Mindy. Yeah. And Mindy, to me, isn't strong enough. Just because Mindy is spouting out rules and is Randy's niece, doesn't replace that feeling for me, and it doesn't make her a character that I feel like needs to continue in the franchise, especially when she got attacked like that. She could have died.
Yeah,
because if that's the case, Randy should be a legacy character.
That's all I'm saying. I really liked Mindy this movie. She was my favorite, and I was like, by the end of the movie, I'm just like, why does all these people, especially finding out Gail was stable, Mindy's stable, like Kirby stable, like everybody just
stable. Mindy's up walking around.
Exactly. Like,
right.
Just had all I'm saying on her stomach. I'm like, so how far? So did she get stabbed? Like, because I know the anatomy of the body, and I know you got some pretty important.
As sharp as those buck knives are, part of her intestines should have been hanging out at some point in this movie.
I mean, a kidney, intestines, something. You're gonna hit an artery. Like, it's a lot of shit in your gut.
You're not gonna be walking around 5 hours later.
Right. Not at all. Not
But
at
in the words of Jocelyn Hernandez, when we got to that point, I was just like, "Oh, why is you here?
for
Like, can we
real.
just let it go?"
Right. Like y'all got us hanging on the thread of like, is they dead? Is they dead? Just for them to live and pull through. And it's like, I'm tired of y'all playing these games with me because y'all ain't have no problem killing off. Y'all ain't have
The
no
original,
the
the
original.
original. I just feel like they are trying to make amends with the Scream fans with Mindy, and I'm
Man,
one of those. I'm one of those Scream fans that isn't blinded by nostalgia.
right. Let her go. Let it go.
So to me, she's not Randy. You cannot replace that character for me,
Right.
and you can just let her. Like, I get that she has his quirks and mannerisms, but she's still just his niece. It wasn't like that was his daughter.
Right. Right.
Like, she's not going to be Randy to a T. And I feel like they're trying to put a square peg in a round hole, and I just need her to go.
Let it go. I really feel like, yeah, that could have been another body who. That could have been another body. Because that's one thing that's one thing I personally love about the Scream movies is that not everybody is gonna live. You know, you're gonna lose some. That's the part that makes it hurt, and that's what brings you back for the next movie, and the next movie.
I'm
And
just saying, you're telling me that you're going to kill off Dewey, I dodged a bullet 9 times, Riley, but you're going to keep this girl?
yeah, yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Whatever. Moving on. But we get to the
And
theater.
we only
Kirby's there.
survived one movie. Like that's the thing. Y'all played in our face, and she got it. Her and Chad, they got it. Okay, they
We're,
should.
we're gonna get we're gonna get to Chad.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna get there too, because that was another one where I was like,
So they get to the shrine in this theater, and Kirby's like, "Okay, we're making this whole place a kill box. When they come in, they can't get out. I have one gun. I'm the only person who's gonna have it, and that's it."
right.
And they're walking around. Tara and Chad go off to be cute, and Sam's looking around at her dad's costume, and he's just like, "Use your brain. You know this place isn't safe. Get this knife and clear it yourself." And she grabs the knife. He's like, "That's my favorite." And she goes walking around, and she gets a call from the detective that Kirby got fired from the FBI and that she's Ghostface. And I'm like, if this ain't some bullshit,
Right.
there ain't no way.
They would never tell us. They would never tell us that about.
No.
If Kirby was the killer, they would never tell us like that.
No.
Too easy. No. Mm-mm.
Like he literally tried to pull the calls are coming from upstairs shit on us. It's like, that's not how this works.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we see Chad and Tara being cute. And I think that was like the saddest part, was like they really were like kissing and like getting into it, and she got stabbed in the back.
I know. Oh.
But can we talk about fucking Chad? I drank my milk Meeks because he was throwing them bows.
Yeah.
Ghostface was getting his ass whooped by Chad.
Handed to him. Handed. Ghostface was getting his ass handed to him.
Like, he was throwing them club punches,
Mm-hmm.
and they was landing. But
Everyone.
Tara gets stabbed. He beats Ghostface ass. They run to Sam. Sam's like, it's Kirby. They can't get out.
Yeah.
Right? And Ghostface shows up. They run through this hall. Ghostface gets hit with Kenny's camera from part 1. They go through this corridor. They end up back in the same place they ran from. And then you see 2 Ghostface, which is so crazy that they're like just taking bits and pieces of unused scripts.
Yep.
With the 2 Ghostface on camera. And when I tell you, I about cried seeing Chad get stabbed like that, because he was looking them dead in the eye, and you could tell like his whole face was saying, I love you.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for you.
Like, go. Like, this is your chance to run.
And he ate them shits. He didn't scream. He didn't cry.
Man.
He just took it.
He got stabbed up too in the last one as well. I was like, and I mean, when he got stabbed up in the last one, he was like gurgling blood. Like, I thought he was done for. And this is another one I was like, how many, like, I know he didn't get shot, but how many stabs can this nigga?
They treated his ass like a voodoo doll. Okay.
Yes. I was like, no.
So Sam and Tara run out into the main part of the shrine,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this weird movie playing in the background, a homemade stab movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ghostface shows up, and then Kirby shows up, and they're like, we know it's you. And she's like, I just got knocked out. Like, she's bleeding. And she's like, I got knocked out. What are you talking about?
Right.
And then the detective shows up and he's like, get away from those girls. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me
Right.
right now? It's probably him. And he like shoots her and she goes
Yep.
down. And then you see the two Ghostface next to him. And I was sitting in my mind going, I got it. I got it.
Yep,
So
I was like, damn, she got it.
I got it. So the first one gets unmasked and it's Ethan. And he's like, yeah, Mindy was right. It was really easy to rig the lottery. I just had to like be roommates with this alpha male asshole or whatever.
Yep.
And they're like, and when Sam says Mindy, I was like, bitch, you know this is not Mindy.
Right. Come on now.
Mindy gonna stab her. Well, I'm not gonna say it's far-fetched she would stab her own brother, but Mindy would not stab Chad.
No, absolutely not.
They were they're twins. They're too overprotective of each other.
Right.
Now, if it would have been Chad and Mindy as Ghostface, yes, but not just Mindy by herself.
Yeah. Hell no.
And you see it's Quinn's old round face ass, and I was just like, yep, Richie's family. They're still not putting together this is Richie's family, right? So they're asking the obligatory, like, why and this and that. And he's like, oh, you still haven't figured out. Ethan's like mocking them.
Yep.
And Quinn and Ethan are like surrounding them. They're just going in circles. And Sam hands Tara a brick.
Mm-hmm.
And she picks up a brick. And then they're chasing them around a little bit. And then that's when the monologue starts. And he's just like,
Yep.
my son, he loved these films. And I probably indulged him a little too much. You took him away from us. And they're like, she still don't get it. And she's like, you're Richie's family.
Duh.
And they're like, yeah, dumb bitch. He's like, he made his own movies and he built this place and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, okay, so you're nuts too. Got it. Now, I always understand the logic of if you take my child from me, I'm coming from you.
Yeah.
Except when your child's a killer. Like,
yeah. Not understanding how you want to avenge your son's death, but he literally, him and his girlfriend, like went on a killing rampage. Like,
and there are people like, look at the parents of like school shooters and stuff like that. Like they really do like, but my baby. And it's like, no, who?
mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I love my children to death, but they know if they are like killers, woman beaters, or pedophiles, we have nothing to talk about.
Nothing.
I will not be in court. I will not be in court.
Mm.
I'm not sitting like I'm not that parent. So
Yeah.
he goes through this whole monologue, and you see Richie's face on the screen with his old stab movies that he's uploading on YouTube and stuff. And when they are talking shit, and Sam's like, yeah, your limp dick son who made his girlfriend kill everybody because he couldn't do it himself. And he's like, my son was strong and virile.
Right.
Like, I don't know what it is about telling him dude he got a limp dick that will drive him absolutely nuts. And when Tara smashes Quinn's face with that brick and them teeth fly out,
I was like, ooh. Ooh.
And then Quinn kept going. And it's like, this bitch is disturbed if her teeth just got knocked out and she's still coming.
Still coming. Like, because the assignment still has to get completed. The assignment is still not over. So
they're running around trying to get away, and they climb up on the scaffold because there's like an opening up top.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get up there, and Sam has the knife still from Billy in her waist, and Tara slips and she's dangling. The infamous online dangling scene. Because I saw for months people going, well, Tara's smirking in the trailer, so she's probably crazy and blah, 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 blah. And she's holding Sam's hand. Look at the nail polish. She went nuts. It's like, y'all just want good people to be bad. So bad.
So bad.
So bad.
And it's not even working.
Okay.
Like, y'all gonna
it's
make
not.
it. Like, no.
And it's so sweet because you got Ethan down there and you got Quinn up top. Yep. And they're trying to figure out what to do. And he's like, I've always wanted to put something in you.
Yep.
Like,
siblings too. It was like, ooh.
Yes. And he was talking about how he was a virgin in like early in the movie. Mm-hmm. So he's being all sexual towards her, and she's dangling, and she's like, Sam, she's like, you have to let me go.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, she said it early in the movie, you gotta let me go. And she tells her again, you have to let me go. And she looks at the knife, and Sam just hands it to her.
Yeah.
And she drops her, and she gets stabbed by Ethan, but she shoved that knife in his throat.
I know. And then
like,
turned it. Oh.
There's something so it just fills me with joy to
Yeah.
see creepy sexual deviants
Yeah.
get penetrated some
Mm,
way.
yeah.
And she like, you could tell she wanted to say gag on it, and I feel like there's probably a take where she tells him to choke on it, but they cut it out. Because
Oh yeah.
everything
No,
about
they
that
did.
scene, I was
You
waiting for her to be like,
know.
choke on it,
Yep.
gag on it, or like some sexual innuendo was
Yeah.
missing from that part. Do you know what I
Something.
mean?
Yes. Oh.
And then she turned it and just was like, "You're gonna die a virgin,"
Mm.
and pushed his ass. And then you see Quinn come up, and Quinn's flipping the knife and spitting out teeth.
I know. And she had all this time. Like, this is some time that from her dangling. Quinn should have ran up on her while she was holding her, talking about let me go. Quinn had all the time in the world to try
But
to.
you know what though? I have a big brother, right?
Mm-hmm,
And say for some, hypothetically speaking, I lost my noodles because somebody hurt him.
mm-hmm,
I'm gonna want to run a fair fade. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd wait.
mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna kill you because I got one of nah, bitch. You're gonna have to fight me head up and take my brother out this world.
Yeah.
So I get that part. She wanted a fair one with this bitch. But the fact that you didn't know this bitch had a gun is what was the problem.
Yeah.
I feel like out of all, like, she got like the Mickey treatment where like you just got shot, like you didn't get like a real good death scene.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Because
were.
like Mickey was, because Quinn did most of the killings, right? So just like Mickey did most of the killings. Why is it the people who do the most killings get like the least like gruesome death?
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Like
by
the
now
mastermind.
we're running out of time, so we gotta end this.
Yeah, like,
Maybe.
I get it. The mastermind is the idea person, right? So
Mhm.
like, there's a sinister sense there that you want to get them.
Yeah.
I want the person who literally put hands on whoever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, she just gets shot in the head like a dumbass. Like you literally. And Sam was like, looks like you lost another sibling,
Mm. Mm.
and she literally brought a knife to a gunfight, y'all. I mean, it was like right between the eyes, which
Yep.
pisses me off even more because that means Sam, you could have shot her at Gail's house. If you're that good of a shot, then you could have shot her at Gail's house.
Yeah. Yeah. Why'd you miss? How'd you miss?
Right.
That
How'd you
close?
miss? So Quinn's dead and the dad is there. It's like, yeah, all three of your kids dead now. Now what?
Yeah.
And Sam is about to unload on his ass and the clip is empty. And I promise you, there's something about this movie, and I feel like Melissa Barrera nailed the transition from what I want to say, from With It to Blackout
Yeah.
very well. Because when she realized that gun was empty, she just ran towards his ass.
Yeah.
The switch just flipped. The crazy just went up.
Nothing. She got nothing to lose now. She like, well, fuck
Yeah.
it.
You can tell she just blacked out. She ran towards his ass. They fall off the balcony. And then next thing you know, he wakes up and he's by himself.
Yep.
And then he gets a phone call from Sam using the Ghostface modulator or whatever. And she's just talking mad shit. Like,
Yep.
what you gonna do now? And the Billy costume is missing. And he's like, oh, finally you're coming into your birthright. Because what they did was they counted down all the masks. And they wanted her to wear Billy's mask.
Yeah.
After they killed Tara, so it would look like she snapped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they wanted her to die in the shrine, so it all looked like it was her doing.
Yep.
And even when like they brought up the Facebook thing, and they're like, "Well, who do you think started the rumors online?" And it was Quinn. And Ethan says, like, it's not good enough just to kill somebody; you have to assassinate their character first.
Yep. You gotta kill their character.
You gotta kill their character, yeah. Which was so of the times.
Yep.
But yeah, so she's fucking with him, and he's like, "You finally come to your birthright," and they're behind that screen. And when she comes in and she like fucks him up,
Yeah.
and then takes her mask off, and like once again, here comes Tara catching her enjoying being a killer.
Yeah.
Because she admitted to the therapist that she enjoyed killing her boyfriend at the time, and Tara just looks at her, and Sam's like, "You know what? I am not my father." And I am not going to kill you because that's not who I want to be.
Right.
And Tara was like,
like, girl,
like, we not about to do that, sis. And then she was like, but you did fuck with my family. And just there's something so like we've watched all the ghost faces in their kill styles, right? Like we know Stu is up to here.
Yeah.
Billy is the one hand with the choke, right?
Yep. Yep.
Like Charlie and Jill were like underhanded. Scream 2 was left hand. Like everybody has a signature style. I
Yeah.
love that Sam's style is just pure chaos.
Yeah. I mean, she going in. I was like,
And they're
baby,
spinning
she
the
is
camera
her
around it.
Yeah.
Like it's chaotic. And I feel like that speaks more to a serial killer than anything because it's so impulsive. Like her
Yep.
killings are so impulsive
And they're
that
very
she can't.
personal.
It's not even trying to be funny, but it's like she's getting off to it.
Yes.
She kills like she's having sex.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she's grunting, she's sweat, like
Mhm.
she's thoroughly enjoying it.
Mm-hmm. She's in the moment. She's very in the moment.
Very
Like,
lost in the moment. And then
boom.
Tara was like, okay.
Yep.
Like Tara was just sitting there like, okay.
Right.
And they go sit down and Tara's like, I'm gonna go to so much therapy, I promise you.
Yeah, you need to, girl. Like, you absolutely need to.
And then of course we get our last pop-up of Ghostface, which is Ethan
How?
running towards them.
And I'm like,
Exactly. How did he survive that?
we watched this nigga get
Get
stabbed so far.
Get his tonsils taken out.
Like, and then she twisted the knife. How do you pop? How do you like pass out from that? And however long time has passed, you pop up and think you about to what? Like what?
Yeah. And Kirby kills him with the Stew TV, you know, and she's like, I saw that in a movie once and I died.
so many great lines in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like even like
So many great lines.
big up to whoever wrote the Kirby and Mindy scene.
Yeah.
God damn it. They nailed a horror nerd interaction so well.
Chef's kiss. It was
With them rattling off movies and what they thought about them.
Yep.
Right. And when she was like, what's your favorite Jason movie? And she said part 2 and Kirby said 4. And she said, well, I had a thing for Corey Feldman. And Minnie was like, respect. Because I think everybody did in that generation.
Of course. Yes.
And then they got to Candyman and she said original or remake. And they said both. I was like,
yes. Yes.
You get
finally.
it. You get it. Finally some justice for Candyman, right?
Yes.
So like when Minnie was like, game recognized game. I said they made her like a little blacker in this movie.
They did. I loved it.
She was like, game recognized game.
Yep.
But the fact that Kirby's the one that saves the day, I love that for her.
Mm-hmm.
And so we found out Kirby's. Oh, and mind you, the boyfriend is gone too because she sent the boyfriend away because they don't trust his ass. But he shows up at the end with the police. He's like, I figured you might need some help. I still feel like moving forward. How did he not die?
Yeah. How did he? He didn't even get stabbed. He didn't even get.
He didn't fight Ghostface.
He didn't. He didn't fight him. He didn't get
no interactions with Ghostface.
Yeah, and there was a lot of time that had passed before the police got there. So it's like, when did you decide maybe we need to call the police? Like when did I don't know.
This is what I'm not understanding about the boyfriend situation, right? Okay, so he didn't help in the apartment really, right? He tells her not to trust him. Okay, that sticks out to me. He disappears for long periods of time. Okay, but I get the fact that like nobody knew that he was dating Sam till like halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
But that means Ethan knew that she was with Sam.
Mm-hmm.
So he could have easily told somebody about him and he could have got killed. Like that's another body that we didn't catch that should have been caught. The character was not good enough to keep him around as a love interest.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. Like they could have done.
She didn't even want anybody to know she was seeing him. So why are we keeping him around unless he has a bigger part to play in the next story?
Yeah, because the only like his character really could have been a throwaway character because the only scene that moved the plot along, and I wouldn't even say it moved the plot along. It just gave us another kill. Was the apartment scene where he came through with a ladder, and I'm like, he just got a ladder in his like living room right there.
In New York, right? Like for
And
what?
he just got a ladder right there, and it just so happens to be the exact length.
Lynn.
Can
Right. Okay. Thank you. So you see where
like,
I'm coming from.
yeah, I was like, I'm still not buying it. Still
Yeah,
not.
I'm not buying it either. And there's something about this character that I feel like got the Chad treatment from the last movie. Like how Chad was kind of a throwaway. You're like, why is he alive?
Right.
Maybe we'll find out in the next movie about this guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's all over and Mindy's running up and she's like,
Yep.
I know who Ghostface is. It's the cop and Ethan.
Yep.
And they were like, and it's Quinn too. And she's like, damn it, I missed the monologue.
Yep. So here we got not Quinn. Mindy survived. Chad, they rolled Chad out on the stretcher. So
And I mean, it's cute. It's given very Gail and Dewey when she takes his air off and kisses him.
yep. So we got two. So Chad is apparently gonna make it. We
And
get
him and
word-
Tara gonna knock them boots because
They
he took a knife for her.
they better knock boots. Okay.
That's what you said. That's what you said in the theater. You were like, she better give him the draw.
He better give him all of the draws. Give him the draws. He need to get the Gawk Gawk 5000.
Throw him at him, girl.
Everything. That man put his life on the line for you.
Hey, she better make them bones rattle, okay?
Yes. So we got Mindy. Mindy pulled through miraculously. Chad is gonna pull
Gail.
through miraculously.
Gail.
We got word from the hospital. Gail is stable miraculously.
Kirby.
Kirby, she gonna be all right. Who else do we got? Is that it?
Like I said, yeah, that's really it.
The whole cast, the whole cast fucking survived. I was like, this is unheard of.
I know, and I was watching Jeremy Johns, who's like one of my favorite YouTubers because he does great. I don't know if you know Jeremy Johns, but he does these really good movie reviews in like 6 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They're to the point. They're mostly non-spoiler. He has a rating system. It's to the point. I've been watching this man for years. He's funny.
Yeah.
And he was just like, you can tell they suffered from not wanting to kill people off.
Yeah. They don't want to kill nobody off, it seemed like.
They don't want to upset anybody. And it's like
they're trying to play it safe. Like, no, Mindy could have gone. Mindy could have died. Like, she served her purpose. She could have died.
And I told you that in my predictions. I said if I had something that I want to happen, I want Gail to die or get kidnapped, which she should have died because she got close. And I was like, and I want Mindy to die and Chad to live.
Mm-hmm.
We were so close to what I predicted.
Yep.
It's like just fucking cross the finish line. Like if you are going to, and this is the only thing that frustrates me about this movie and Radio Silence in particular, right? Because they're so tuned into the fan base and what they're saying and what they're tweeting and what they're reviewing.
Yeah.
But you care.
Yep.
So much.
Too much. Some might say you care too much.
Right. You're taking jabs at the fan base, but then you're still doing what they want you to do. And that is what's bothering me. That is, to me, is what's making their trilogy go from being great to legendary to me, is having the balls to say, I'm going to talk about y'all and still do what I want to do.
Yeah. Because I want to see, this is how, I want to see how good their writing can be. And you're not going to know how good their writing can be until you take away these pivotal characters that survived. So now it's not even the core four anymore. Now you got, like, basically, like I said, the whole main cast survived.
Because I'm just saying, if we're on this road to Sam, right, which, like I've said before, we're seeing the origins of a Ghostface to me.
Yep.
If we're seeing her go through this emotional roller coaster, punch the bitch when she's down, because that's when people lose it.
Yep. For sure.
She was already at her breaking point. Fuck her up some more.
Yeah, I want to see
take one of them kids that she babysitted and that she still couldn't protect.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because everybody that died in this movie was of no consequence to Sam personally.
You know,
It was
they even,
everybody. It was everybody around Sam, but not to her personally.
yep. Even, and we kind of glanced over the death of the therapist, which
Because
was,
girl, nobody care about him.
yeah, it was such a it, that scene didn't do anything for me because I'm just like, it was
You
just
see who's at the fucking door,
yeah,
dumbass.
yeah, like you see who's at the door, you still go to it. Yeah, they punched through the glass and then pull him. Like it was just a filler. I feel like that was just a filler kill of just
The
like,
way I feel about the therapist killing is how I felt about the neighbor dying in Megan. Well deserved, and I don't care.
yeah. And I mean, like this movie didn't need to be 2 hours and 2 minutes. Like they could have cut a lot. They could have trimmed a lot of that off of this movie.
Yeah.
And it still would, and it still wouldn't have changed. It wouldn't have changed my
Like
thoughts.
I get that they wanted to show more of those relationships, and that is one of the high points of this movie is the relationships that are built.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a long runtime, like for a horror movie.
Yeah. And for a
But
horror movie where nobody died, none of the
yeah,
main
I
characters
like
died.
the ending of her having the Ghostface mask and contemplating keeping it.
Mm-hmm.
I did like that, but like I said, I feel like we are at this crossroads of are they going to take Sam and make her that person that ends up in a psych ward, or which is what I hope for. If I feel like if they want to end this with a bang bang, like it would make all of this worth it to me, is if they have Tara have to put Sam down.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's nothing more brutal. There's because it takes you back to Cain and Abel, right? There's nothing more brutal than having to hurt someone that you love to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That would definitely give some good shock value. That's a good shock value I can get behind because it's like, what are you going to do, girl? Like, what are you going to do?
And I said it then, and I'm going to say it again. Mm-hmm. Everybody keeps thinking that Sam is the story, and it's not. It's Tara. Tara, even though Sam deteriorated, Sam was already fucked up in the first movie. Yeah. She's just more fucked up. Tara is the one that got the most development throughout this whole series.
Yep. She was the most normal too. Like she wasn't on a bunch of meds. She literally had, you know, she had her role in part 5 where she was in the hospital. This one, she showed a lot of growth, a lot of character development in a good way where I'm like, yes, I hate it. You know, it's always good when you hate a character and then you love them by the end. You know,
yes, that's what I'm saying. Like she literally went from being this innocent child that needed to be protected to literally being the person that was attacking everybody on behalf of her sister. Like every punch thrown, every blow dealt was really Tara at first. Tara was fucking up everybody.
Yeah, she was.
For Sam. And I feel like we've seen her mature from this innocent victim into she's Sydney to me.
Yeah.
Sam is not Sydney to me.
Yeah.
Tara is Sydney to me.
Tara is a survivor.
Like she's so empowered.
She is a survivor. I like her. She's feisty. She can fight. Like I really like Tara. And
if you look at the duality of it all, right? If we're doing this comparative nature, right? Mm-hmm. Sydney and Tara have the same trajectory. Mm-hmm. Sydney got attacked and was very innocent and scared, became extremely empowered, and wanted to just move on with her life in part 2, right? She didn't get real downtrodden until part 3. Part 2, she was just trying to forget the shit and have a normal experience in college.
Yeah.
Same thing with Tara.
Yep.
So I feel like if the writing is going the direction that I think it's going, the rug is going to be that Tara is the survivor.
Yeah. Because
especially now.
Yeah. And you gotta think, Sydney went through what she went through in high school. Mm-hmm. Tara went through a little bit of it while she was in high school, but this last one, she was in college. So, you know, it's they're parallel. They are really moving parallel with each other.
Yes. She was a senior in high school and it was her boyfriend. This time it's a senior in high school and it's her best friend in the same house. Like if it's there, if you're looking past if you're looking at the subtext, you can see where it's going. I just want them to really push the envelope. Like, do not talk shit about the toxic fan base and then give them what they want. Have the balls
Yep.
to say, I'm gonna
Piss them
do
off.
this because this is my
Yeah.
story.
Piss them off a little bit more. Get them talking. If anything, I feel like that should be the goal of like whether you love it or you hate it. You went to see it. You paid your money to go see it, and it got you talking. And you guys are going to be talking for some
Yep.
time, for quite some
I'm
time.
saying, like, go out in the blaze of glory. If you're gonna make the worst scream in history, do that shit. Go out in the blaze of glory.
Yep. Yep.
Like,
So now we
and I still am pissed off because now they're doing to Amber what they do to Stu, which is act like they don't exist.
Yep. Boom. She's gone. Ghost.
Like, she did most of the killing, but we're all about Richie.
Yeah, what about her family? I'm sure she had family.
Right, like, and she's the one that did all the killing, but whatever. And like I said, Stu got his little nods here and there, and they're like, "Oh, if you believe he's dead," and blah 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 blah. I feel like they're dropping the ball on that. They're dropping the ball on Stu, and I hope it's for a reason, because if not, they are alienating the fan base because we're not getting anything.
Yeah, I read an article where they said like Stu is dead. Like Stu is dead. He ain't coming back. Let that nigga rest. Like he's not coming back. So I'm like, all right, but that's still not going to get us to off your back about you can't just act like he did not exist at all. Like same thing with Amber, didn't exist at all. And it's like, okay, Roman, if we're gonna play this game of like the killers might be related, the killer's avenging something. I mean, if we look back at all the movies, every killer has a reason why they could be avenged.
Yep.
Billy Loomis's mom made sense. Forget Stu. Third one, Roman, he was a Sydney's half brother, so he had his reasoning. But what about anybody in his life? Then we got number 4. We got Jill, and what's the other dude's name? Mitch or something?
Charlie Walker.
Yeah. So it's like we're just going, and then Jill was fucking Sydney's niece. So it's like everybody is like, I don't get it. I don't get why it's just.
I just don't understand, and this is where I feel like they dropped the ball personally.
Mm-hmm.
If we were bringing back Kirby, this should have been a story about Charlie.
Yeah. Yep.
Because we still never got a real motivation for Charlie, except for the fact that Jill told him to do it.
That's it. Like that is.
I mean, the same thing with Stu, right? Like, I mean, I get it, but it would have been fun if the heavy lifter of the two gets some shine, because it's always about the mastermind. It's never. I want to see the person who's actually committing the murders get the shine.
Yep, I like that. I like that too. And another thing that I hadn't really thought of is, dang, I lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. I had it and it's gone. Like, bro,
right, it was right here. It was almost there.
And it almost made it way to my mouth. But yeah, I can't remember what I want to say. But I just want, and it's like they didn't kill basically no main character in this movie.
No.
Why couldn't who was I about to say? Dang it, I can't. It's almost there. I almost got it. I was trying to say somebody should have lived in one of the movies. Was it 4? No, okay, that's why I got it. Okay, it came back. I get that I'm still, I still live in the past of the past Scream movies. If all these niggas can survive, why Wes couldn't survive? And I know they had to do the 4 Wes because Wes Craven died. I get it, but why not? If you want to continue his legacy, why couldn't Wes live and you could continue?
Bro,
like what the hell? Like that really irked me that everybody was stable and everybody pulled through at the end of this movie. Like that really irked my damn nerves.
Yes. That is my number one main criticism. Y'all was too, like I said, for all the shit that y'all talked about in these movies about conspiracy theorists.
You're so self-aware. So, and
these toxic fandoms.
I'm like, they almost had it. They almost
like
had
you're feeding into it. Like, I think the it's always good to poke fun at pop culture, and it's always good to poke fun at the social media narrative. I think it's a great angle.
Yeah.
But if you're not gonna follow through with the fuck you, then what's the point of criticizing?
Yeah. What's the point of having all these people get sliced and diced and chopped up only for them to pull through and be stable at the end? Especially like if y'all gonna rip Dewey away from us, then let Gail go too.
Like I said, something more like something more gut wrenching needed to happen. Then everybody's fine. Like that's the only part that I really disliked was that everybody's fine.
Yeah, because we know Scream is not those happily ever after movies. Like
no,
everybody died. It's usually Sydney. Usually Sydney's bitch ass is the last one walking away with her and Dewey and Gail. Like them three are the big three that usually always make it. But then all bets were off. Once Dewey got killed, I was like, all right, so this is what we doing.
Thank you. I was looking forward to losing more people because you killed Dewey. But now it's like you didn't like the response you got for killing Dewey. So now you're trying to like fluff it up. And it's like, now it'll make sense now.
No, now it makes it very like unbelievable. Now it's like, okay, now I'm bringing it out.
Because if the criticism is how could Dewey survive all these stabbings, you're just gonna do it again, even though you totally corrected that in the last movie. So you're gonna keep doing it.
Exactly. All I know is somebody big better die in the next movie.
I am so tired of fake Randy. Like she needs to go. You need to give her more to do. And this is no criticism to Jasmine Savoy Brown. She is a great actress.
Yeah.
With what she's giving. Yep. But if all you're doing is giving this character and she has to stick around because she's going to tell you the rules, well, I'm no longer interested because Randy told you the rules and he was charismatic and he was funny and he was charming. There were layers to his personality that made him being a horror nerd that much better. If all you have to offer me in this one character is, oh, well, she knows the rules of horror. Well, bitch, we all do.
Yep. At this point, we all do.
Check. Right. It's not the 90s. Everybody knows the rules of horror now.
Yep. And like I said, if Randy, like you said, Randy had all these great personalities. He actually could have had a better, more significant role moving forward had he survived. But if y'all killed him off, then it's like, all right, that voice of reason is not there. So why does she get to live? Basically, like I don't understand why she continues to take on.
She just isn't as charismatic.
Yeah.
As Randy, she's not like even the scene where she was like talking about the rules. And I hate to say it, it's like the pinnacle of all penultimate of a Scream movie, right? Is your rules scene.
Yep.
It's boring. She is boring explaining these rules.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like she's like reading off of paper. It's nothing about it that makes me be like, ooh, she knows. It's kind of more like, well, yeah, everybody knows that.
You saying the part she's not loud.
Yeah, she's not offering anything that like we as an audience already don't know. If we're going off of meta commentary, that means you need to treat your audience like they already know. If we're going completely meta, you need to be treating the audience like they already know the rules to this shit because they're here watching this movie.
Yep. And you gotta make you have to. I want them moving forward. I really want them to make the final girls, these final people. There's no more final girls now, so it's just everybody survives. But I want them as characters to be so much more self-aware and of their surroundings.
I just want us to stop milking the rules.
Yeah, there's no way y'all should have caught slipping. Not once, not twice, not three. They kept getting caught slipping by Ghostface over and over and over and over in this movie.
Them to move away from the obligatory rules because now it is getting very tropey within a tropey within a tropey. Like we're here, we are the audience, we are fans of this franchise, whether new or old, which means we already know most, if not all, the rules of horror. And breaking down a franchise in a horror movie that's not horror. You're talking about franchises. You're talking about everything else, right? So we know what a franchise is. We know what a franchise entails. You don't have to remind us that everybody's expendable because we've been here for so long and the new ones have been here since your last movie. So we already know. So you don't have to keep throwing the rules at us because we know the rules.
Right. Because technically, 4 was the re like a reboot of Scream. Because
Yeah.
Scream was dead for 11 years. Like Scream was done after 2000.
Yeah, like if I have to hear the everybody's expendable, everybody's a suspect shit again,
Yeah, we're not
that
doing.
is what, yeah, I'm done with it. Like we
We're
know
not.
this. We
Yeah,
know it could
we're
be
not doing.
anybody, and
Yeah,
we know anybody could die, except for in this movie, anybody can't die apparently. But we
apparently.
know this already
Yeah,
about this particular franchise, that anybody can be Ghostface and anybody can die at any moment. So to keep
mhm.
having to tell us that means that, to me, that your writing's not that strong in this area. So why don't we move on to something else?
Yeah. Challenge. I need them to be challenged as writers, not copy paste, because that's what it
Right.
feels like.
Right.
They're doing a copy. It's
That
like
that
a template. They have a template and they just delete it, put their own stuff in, but it's
like I'm not
following.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like Scream as a whole, when it comes to the rules, is like watching fucking OG Power Rangers. Like a fucking a evil thing's gonna be made by Rita. It's gonna come to the earth. They're gonna
Hmm.
transform and they're
Hmm.
gonna beat it with some fireworks.
Yep.
That's how I feel about this rules shit at this point. If
Yeah.
you want to impress me, there's no rules.
Yep.
Have a scene where they're talking about the rules and then they find out that the rules don't exist.
There we go. Throw us off because we're on to you. Like we're on to you guys. So you should probably make your writing a little bit stronger, grow a pair of nuts, kill off these people. Like that's what grow a pair of nuts. Like let's trim off the fat. Let's really shake some shit up. I want to be
I'm just
shaken
saying.
up in the theater. Like I want to be slunging around. Like I want y'all to have me on the ropes. Like oh, I don't know what's happening.
Oh
Like
my
I
god.
want y'all to have y'all way with me. I don't want to be sitting in the movie theater like what? Oh wait, and then like
Like
it was the second
I'm
time.
getting so frustrated that like my I'm getting so frustrated that my dry patch is like itching like crazy. My eczema is like flaring up. I'm getting so frustrated
Mhm.
because it is so frustrating. Like, okay, we have to think about the source material and who we're talking about. We're all about paying homage to Wes Craven.
Yeah,
Wes Craven, the same nigga that killed off Nancy Thompson in part 3 and Randy. And y'all telling me y'all can't kill off nobody in your sequel?
nobody.
And this man's notorious for killing off people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I
think
need
I
them. I
think
need that writing. That writing has to be.
they're
It
they're
gotta be
they're
strong.
hurting themselves,
Yeah,
not killing people off.
it's keeping them stagnant. It's I don't want to go through another Scream 7, and we continue this bullshit all over again. I don't
Yeah,
want to do that.
I'm
I don't want to do
I'm
that.
telling you right now, if like everybody doesn't die or something like completely horrific doesn't happen in Scream 7, I will not watch another Scream sequel, and I mean that with my
Yeah,
whole chest.
yeah.
I'm not doing it because
Personally.
to be so close and say, and it's still an amazing movie. These are
Yeah,
just nitpicks, right? Like we're just nitpicking things that we didn't like. Amazing movie, but if you're telling me that you can do that well with a rewritten script with your main character not being around, then you should have killed everybody. Hell, if
yeah,
you really wanted to piss people off, you could have just killed Sydney off camera. You could have gave me a news report where they found her body
yep.
strung
It,
up like Casey Becker. You could have done
yep,
any of that shit,
yep.
but you're trying to be so respectful to
Mhm,
everybody, so you don't.
mhm.
Horror is about alienation.
Yep, absolutely. I
It's
feel
it's a it's a
you
toxic fandom for a reason.
so far, and that's what keeps us coming back for more. That's what keeps us talking. That's what keeps us coming back because it's so outrageous. Like you have to keep us guessing because some of us, you and I, we are horror movie fans. We've been horror movie fans our whole life. So we 30 years in this game. It ain't too much we ain't seen. We can predict this shit. Like it's not too much. Like y'all gotta really tighten up. Y'all have to tighten up. And I thought they was on to something when it's like, okay, Dewey ain't here, Sydney's gone, and very little Gail. Gail was sprinkled through it. And
Yep.
y'all did an okay job, but then it's like y'all just really lost the steam at the end.
Yeah. They ran out of steam. Like I said, it's not the worst things in the world, but those are my two things. Like I said, just not killing off the characters and the rule thing. If we could fix that, I think it'd be a smash, like
Yeah,
10 out of 10. That's why I gave it an 8, because I was like, it's just some things I can't let
yeah,
go of. And I
yeah.
just feel like when it comes to the horror genre, I'm not gonna say I've seen it all before, but I feel like I've seen it all before. And
Mm-hmm.
there's only one movie that I have watched recently. This came out like either 2020 or 2021, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That I've watched that really fucked with me, but I was like, I have never seen this before, and it's called The Special.
Okay.
That is the only thing I've ever seen where I'm like, ew, I've never experienced things like this. I don't want to experience it again. That, and ironically enough, I started Swarm today.
Hmm. Girl, that shit is crazy. But a part of me, and this is where I might lose some people. Okay. It was refreshing to me because you know how most serial killers are white men.
Yeah.
It kind of felt good to see a black girl be a serial killer. Like,
That's
and
why I said, like,
we don't
it's
know,
so sick.
we don't have to have a rhyme or reason of why, because you don't ask the white people why they go off on kill. Like
Yep.
Jeffrey Dahmer, I saw people love that Jeffrey Dahmer show. That I was like, I ain't watching that. That's a little bit too close to reality. I lived through that. I remember hearing about that. But something about Swarm was like refreshing, and I think the creator. I read an article, and the creator was like, "Yeah, why we can't be serial killers?" And I said,
Yo, this is all I'm gonna say about Swarms. That's a whole podcast for a different day, right? Like, we could dedicate a podcast to that because I'm almost done with it.
"Yeah,
I feel like this should have been a movie. And if this would have been a movie, this would, I mean, it's already getting talked about like crazy, but
mm-hmm,
this would have been the movie of the year. I'm
yeah,
not a big Donald Glover fan. Just gonna
mm-hmm,
say that off rip. Like, I'm
mm-hmm,
really not. I think he's a pretentious sack of shit that is piggybacking off of black tears to further his career.
mm-hmm,
I said it. I'm not buying it. You're not even married to a black woman. All your activism is just bullshit to me. You make one song and all of a sudden you're the voice of black people. Not buying it.
mm-hmm,
But personal feelings aside, I can't deny this is a good series.
yeah,
And I feel like that is what I mean when I say show me something different.
yes, very different." And I agree with you. I would have taken, okay. I struggle with half-hour series because either make it an hour or give us
Mhm.
more episodes. Seven, my nigga, 7 episodes, and the shit
Yeah.
didn't start making sense until episode 6. And I'm like, then it's over. The fuck? Like, I need season 2 October. Y'all better have
See,
a
I'm on episode 3, so I got to the first 2 episodes today because the baby was asleep and the kids were home. I don't want to watch that in front of them. So
yes, please don't.
I got through the first 2 episodes, and there's this part of me, and maybe this is gonna make me sound like a nutcase, or maybe this is where I start to explore myself, and maybe people need to give me some help. But I was just like,
What's she
I
doing?
kind of identify with this girl.
That's why I said the first kill, I was like, okay, what's the problem? The second kill, okay, she a little dedicated, but I'm like, what's the problem? So
When I
I'm like,
when
maybe
I
I'm
saw,
fucked up too. Maybe I'm a little bit fucked up too. I
I
don't
know,
know.
and we're so off track, guys. You have to understand this is like the most refreshing thing we've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap it up and go back to Scream Six, I promise. But the scene where she was like stripping, I was like, that was me. That's why I didn't make no money like that, because I'm just too damn awkward. Like that was me. Like, I'm a nerd.
I loved it.
Yeah, like I remember those days, and I was just like, man, that's kind of probably what I look like on stage, and that's why the Lord was like, bitch, this is not for you. Here's a real job.
There you
Because
go.
when she said this bitch only made $7, I was like,
Yeah.
because she was being all artistic, and I was like, all right, Dre, you girl.
Right. Oh my gosh. But yeah, we gonna
Yeah, like,
we'll put a pin in that. Circle
yeah,
back around.
we have to do. I have to finish it, and that might be next week because I have to finish it. But I just feel like, show me something different. Show me something unexpected. Show me the opposite of what I've come to know and love from this franchise. Now it's just an example, guys. Like, just show me something. Like I said in the special, I can give y'all a brief synopsis. Like, it's not even a real synopsis because it's one of those you just have to watch it type movies.
Yeah.
This guy is going through a breakup. His friend takes him to this club and they ask for the special. and they're like, yo, this is a one-time situation. Don't get like attached. You can't know what it is. Don't ask no questions.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna be the best experience of your life. And he goes off the deep end, and that's all I can tell you.
What's that streaming
That
on?
was what is the special streaming on? Let me see. Because it's one of those things where it's like this
I,
is
I, I feel like I've either seen clip of it or I've heard that synopsis somewhere. So
yeah,
that's
it's you literally can't say anything else about it. It's one of those type of movies to where like, and it's pretty gross. But it shocked me in a way that like I saw Hereditary, right? And everybody's like, "Oh, this is so shocking." It wasn't shocking to me.
yeah, yeah,
It follows.
yeah,
Totally bored the fuck out of me. I don't understand people consider this. It's like one of the worst I've ever seen. Like
yeah,
Contagion did it better on Netflix. Like there are just these movies that are like, oh, it's so different, it's so new, and it's like, no, it's not.
yeah.
It's not different. It's not new.
Another one I will say was different for me was The Menu. Did you watch that on HBO?
Okay,
That was so weird. I was
I
like, what am
I
I watching?
I enjoyed The Menu because of Ralph like Fiennes, because of how he portrayed the character.
Yes,
The cinematography was definitely interesting with the actual menu and all the bullshit.
yes,
But the idea of someone hating their lives so much and they're gonna take all you fuckers with them is not new to me.
yeah. Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
I was like, okay, this is something interesting. Never seen this before. This is wild. But yeah, it was.
But I do think it was great that it was like watching like Gordon Ramsay have enough.
Yes.
Like if Gordon Ramsay had enough, that's
that
what I would expect it to be.
Yep.
I'm trying to look up where because my computer wants to work now. But yeah, it came out in 2020. Let
Okay.
me see where this is streaming at. Is now, like I said, I had like a whole reboot of my laptop, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna use my phone and call it a day.
I was going to use my laptop too. My laptop is a shit show. I gotta take it to go get a tune up or something. It's all fucked up. I really don't want to buy another.
Get a tune up.
It need a tune up or an oil change or something. That shit is fucked.
It's coughing.
Yeah, it's coughing real bad. And I just got it in 2019, so I'm like, I don't want to throw it away. I think this is still a good, decent, like full size laptop. Like I need that. So I don't know. This Chromebook is it's okay for certain things, but I'm realizing like this Chromebook isn't a real laptop.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky enough that Courtney has an HP, so he lets me. Okay, it is on Peacock.
Oh, okay, I have Peacock. Cool.
Yes, and it came out in 20. It's literally called The Special. And it was so like, it's one of those ones like Neon Demon or like Mandy. Like, it's just so out there that you're like, this is some weird shit. Or what's that other one? With Jake Gyllenhaal. This is another one that is like, they call The Enemy.
I got a few things on my list too on I think on Peacock. I got a few things that I just added to my list. It was this other like horror. I think it's like a anthology show too. Got like different stories. I'm gonna watch that too. So I'm like, I need something fresh. Like after watching so many horror movies, that you can predict it because they all follow the same template. It's good to see something different where it's like it's so unpredictable. You don't know what's about to happen next, and you are like, "What the fuck?" the whole time. So yeah,
yep.
I'm always looking for new horror. Like, how can you elevate the horror genre after so many years?
And see, that's the thing that bothers me is like, I don't believe in elevated horror. Like I enjoy the Babadook and stuff like that. Like I think it's great. I like Get Out. You know, I like Us.
Yeah.
But I feel like elevated horror is like the snobbery of like food critics. Like horror is not elevated. It's visceral and it's disgusting and it's bad. And why are we trying to make it something that it's not? Like I'm always more impressed with the horrors of reality. Right. So when they get to this elevated horror aspect, I just don't get it. And I'll be honest enough to say that maybe I'm just one of those dumb people. I just don't get it. Like, to me, Get Out is not elevated horror.
Yeah, it's different
It's
though.
not.
It's different. I
But I'm
would
saying,
say it elevates as far as like it gives us a different story to tell. It didn't follow any tropes. You know what I'm saying? It didn't follow the template of copy paste, copy paste. Like I love a good, like for example, I love a good horror movie about a haunted house. Love it.
yeah,
You know, that's the reason why I love The Conjuring so much. Like I love horror movies of like families that move to a new house and they find out it's haunted or something. I
but
love
say
horror.
when I say like it isn't elevated, I'm not saying there aren't like aspects to a movie that is more polished or
Mhm.
more in depth or more poetic. When I say it's not elevated, I'm saying the idea of horror is to scare you
Mhm.
and to get your adrenaline pumping, to make you think twice, to invoke paranoia. When I
Yeah.
think of Get Out, I don't think that it's elevated. I think he just made it palatable for white people. And like,
Mhm. Mhm.
so when they put that label out there, like, well, this is elevated, it's like, oh, well, this is good enough now.
Mm.
That's what I hate about elevated horror, is now that, oh, when you say it's elevated, oh,
Yeah.
well, it's good enough to be digested by the masses. And it's like horror has always been like this dirty little Hollywood back room.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're trying to make it so eloquent and just so something that it's not. That's not what it is. Like, it's literally like Hereditary and The Babadook and Get Out and Midsommar and all that shit. It
Mhm.
bothers me that we're at this point now where it's like it has to be a Shakespearean play
Right.
for
Right. Right.
people to want to digest it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's just something that is new that scares me because I I done
Funny.
seen so many different things where it's like, oh, gotta scare me. You gotta up the
Right.
ante a little bit to scare me. So maybe that's why I love like the found footage, uh, point of view. Like I love those too. Like I love those kind of movies. So it's like I'm always looking for something different. But
No, I like I said, I enjoyed Scream
yeah,
6, and they're so close.
yeah. If you like, I think did we rank them? Did we rank all the screens? Last week?
No, but if I had to, I think we did briefly, but if I had to rank it, I'm gonna say 1, 2, 6, 5, 4, and 3.
Okay, I'm right there with you. I do 1, 2, 6, 5, 4, and 3.
Yeah, so we have the same ranking.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we got the same. Yeah, I feel it. I was like, hey, I enjoy. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
We're going to find something to nitpick and pick it apart, just because it's layered. And at the core of it, the writing definitely needs improvement
Yeah.
because y'all can fool the masses, but you ain't gonna be able to fool us. Like we need to like really get grow a pair of nuts and kill these people
And
off. That was my biggest thing. Like, why do all
there it is right there, man. But that is where I'm gonna end it.
yeah,
We have been on here for 2 hours and 7 minutes, and I swear no one's gonna watch this whole thing. But it had to be said.
yeah. So yeah, we had a mouthful. So
Yes.
yeah, thanks everybody for joining us
For
next
however
week.
long you stuck around, if you made it to the end, bitch, you are the real MVP.
For
Okay, you
real.
are my hero. If
For
you listen
real.
to us talk about it for this long,
Yeah. So what moving forward, what we gonna talk about next week?
we're talking about Swarm next week. I mean, we have to.
Yeah, it's enough. It's definitely enough to break down. Who is so
Yes,
much to break down?
this is our moment as Black women to talk about a Black female serial killer. I feel like this is it. Like, we have to.
Yep, absolutely. Hopefully by then we hear some more news. Maybe we gonna get a season 2. I'm not sure if this is one of those limited series where it's like this is all you're gonna get. I don't
I don't
I
know,
don't
but
know. I don't know. But I was here
I'm
for it.
looking forward to finishing some episodes tonight before I go to bed. So
Yeah, just keep in mind it ain't gonna like episode 6 makes sense. Where it's like
Got
they
you.
should have led with that, but we'll talk about that next week because I got a whole thing
All right.
about that. But yeah, we gotta go to bed. It's late as hell, so
We old.
we
We
will
old,
end it
child.
here. All right, we gonna end it here, and we will see y'all next week. All right, babies.
Bye.
Bye.